Research has proved that eggs are the best bet for breakfast, mainly because it has hunger fighting properties and it keeps you satisfied and full throughout the day or till lunch at least. And that's why I've also noticed I'm much more happier after having eggs for breakfast. Now, eggs are supposed to be really, really good for you, and that's why I have decided to feature baked eggs in my cook show. So welcome to Jagee's cookbook. Eggs have a whole sort of, well, it's a powerhouse of nutrition. They contain the most highest quality of protein. It also contains B12, B2, selenium, and also contains choline. Choline is supposed to be very, very good for you for gene regulation, brain development, and heart health. Also contains lutein, which is good for your eyes. Now, this also contains, or the eggs also contains vitamin A, which is also very essential for you, especially for children. An egg a day will provide them the essential nutrients. So I urge you to all, well, those of you who eat eggs, to do include or always include eggs in your diet, especially during breakfast time. Now, eggs are a beautiful, well, a food item because it can, it's very versatile. Mainly because it can be cooked in all sorts of ways, very quick. Okay, you don't have to waste a lot of time on it. You can actually poach it, boil it, fry it, scramble it, whole sorts of things, and it gets along with everything, all sorts of ingredients. Now, I have tried, well, various types of egg. I've shown you also different types of egg dishes, and lots of people love egg dishes. Now, this particular one is a baked egg omelette. Okay, it's an omelette which is baked. It's very, very simple. Also very healthy because it doesn't contain, well, it contains only a very, very little amount of oil. So it's also very, very good for you. Now, first what we have to do, well, we need eggs. For an egg omelette or baked egg omelette, we do need eggs. So I'm going to take 5 to 6 eggs. All depends on how many eggs you really want. 5 eggs, don't you think so? 5 eggs. Now, if you do not, or you're very, very, very health conscious and you're worried about your cholesterol, avoid the yolks. So if it's 5, you'll have to take 10 egg whites. Okay, 5 eggs or 10 egg whites. So it's the double, because 1 egg, if you take out the yolk, 2 egg whites will be equal to 1 egg. Okay. So I'm going to crack open 5 eggs, 4 and 5. Okay. Now, to this, we need some oats for structure. Okay, a little bit of oats, probably 1 tablespoon or 1.5 tablespoon. Okay, just a bit. Now, just mix these together and let the oats actually dissolve or soak into the egg. Now, I used oats mainly because oats is very, very, very healthy. I mean, it's ultimate health food for me. If you, well, do not want to use oats for some reason, you can use all-purpose flour, or you can use rava, or also semolina, or also you can use wheat powder, that is, yeah, your whole wheat powder, okay, or whole wheat. So we've got our oats and salt in 5 eggs. what we have to do is vegetable part. Now the vegetable part we have to saute just a little bit, and then we transfer it onto an oven-proof dish, and then we bake it in the oven. Now what we have to do first is, like all dishes, we have to deal with the onions, and here I'm going to chop up some spring onions. Now if you don't have spring onions, leeks will do. Okay, now after that, chop it one tomato and chop it real fine. Tomato gives its tart taste, and also it adds color to it. Okay, need some chilies, green chilies. Now be careful, if you don't like chilies or green chilies, you can add pepper. All depends upon what you like. Now this is a sort of go with the flow type of recipe, so you can add actually anything. You can add boiled carrots, a little bit of 1 cup of vegetables. It can be anything: boiled carrots, beans, broccoli, anything you want. It depends upon what you have at home and what you like. Okay, I'm going to also add some mushrooms. So we'll get this out of the way. Meanwhile, let me just switch on the heat and heat some little oil. A tablespoon of oil. And I'm going to add my spring onions. With that, I'm going to mince in or grate in some garlic. 1 garlic or 2, not too much. If you don't want garlic, you can avoid the garlic. Like I said, if you don't have spring onions, you can actually add regular onions or leeks. It all depends upon what you really like. Next, while that's sauteing, we'll chop up the mushrooms. Now I'm going to add mushrooms and tomato and a little bit of cilantro. You can add spinach, broccoli, carrots, beans, anything you want. Make sure they're washed well, and mushrooms, wash them very, very quickly, because mushrooms, what happens is they're very spongy and they absorb a lot of water. So if you put them in water for a long time, what happens is the mushroom soaks up all the water and it loses its taste and texture and flavor and nutrients. So what you do is just wash it very, very quickly under running water, very, very quickly, and dry them with a tissue paper. Next, now once that's a bit soft, next we add our mushrooms. Tomatoes should be last, otherwise it will be all wilty. Let that saute well. Now you could put a little bit of salt if you want, but remember I have salted the eggs. Now, afterwards, we add our tomatoes. In between, you can, like I said, you can add any type of vegetables you want. Now, carrots and everything, I would suggest you steam it first before you saute. And when you saute just for heating it through, not too much. Now, Again, a little bit of salt, making sure it's very little because we have added salt in our eggs. So be very, very careful. You can also add cheese. Once you add cheese, you have to be very careful that that also contains salt. So you should be very careful in that. A little bit of pepper because I have added green chili. So see, it's all according to your own individual taste. Meanwhile, I have to preheat the oven because I'm going to bake the omelette. 180. And then what we do is switch this off because this is enough. And next what we need is our cilantro. Now either our cilantro or you could add parsley or even spinach. Now this is some fresh, very fresh cilantro. Make sure you wash well because everything comes with pesticides and chemicals and whatnot, and try to go on organic as much as possible because the vegetables are atrociously dipped, or they're actually, well, they're full of pesticides and different types of chemicals. So try to chop this as fine as possible. Now, after we chop the cilantro, what we do is, okay, mix this well. Remember, we've got some oats in it that gives structure. Okay, now add the vegetables. Whatever vegetables you have at home, anything. You can add anything, even peas, frozen peas, or even sweet corn, anything you like. Check for your seasonings. It needs a bit more salt, but if I over salt it, I'm afraid nothing is more terrible than an over salted omelette. Okay, now transfer it onto a greased tray. This doesn't need to be greased because this is a silicone pan, so it does not need to be greased. All I'm going to do is just pour this gently onto or into a greased or silicone pan. Now this is great picnic food because even if it's cold, or even for children's lunch boxes, you make it and cut it into wedges or any shape you want and cover it up with aluminum foil or cling film and send it off for your kids' lunches or even for good picnic food. Now I'm going to place this into the oven. And let this bake. It probably take around 20 to 25 minutes. It has to bake. Once it's set, you can take it out. Now my baked omelette must be done because it's around 20 to 25 minutes. Again, it depends upon your oven. I've noticed it's puffed up, okay, souffled up, probably because it's eggs, and eggs have all these, rising properties. Let me just take it carefully. I'll just keep it out here. It's uneven on the surface, but that's not a problem because we're going to upturn it, demold it. Okay. So very carefully, let me carefully lift it out, and there we've got our baked omelette. All we have to do is cut it into wedges, and you can take it as picnic food or even give it to your children. Now I'll show you how to cut it. Now because this is soft, I'm going to use this. You can cut it into any shape you want. Okay. Okay. Now you can see the inside of it, which has been done perfectly. Very soft, tender, and yet it's got all the vegetables. Very good. All you have to do is eat it just like that. Now, this can be eaten with, like a sandwich, okay, with actually in between two pieces of bread or a chapati or anything. It can be eaten like that. It's also very, very good to be given as school lunches. You know, in the kids' school lunch box. This would be perfect. It's perfect when it's cold. In fact, it's better when it's cold rather than it's hot. So you try to make this, enjoy, and I'm sure you'll like it.